Uncertainty is growing in Japan as a new leader of the ruling party, Sanae Takaichi, faces weakening support in parliament. It throws into doubt her bid to become the country's first female prime minister as a long-standing coalition between parties fractures. Jason Douglas is the Tokyo bureau chief at the Wall Street Journal. Jason, thanks for joining us on the program tonight. Now, this is big news. The junior partner to the Liberal Democratic Party in government says it's leaving the ruling coalition. Why is Komeito withdrawing?
Sure, these two parties have been together for 26 years, so it is a real rupture, as you say. There are two reasons, really. The sort of main one is that they've been unhappy with a political funding scandal which enveloped the LDP, the Liberal Democratic Party, a couple of years ago. They proposed a bunch of things to change this, to try to clean up politics as they see it, and have so far been rebuffed by the LDP. But there is a second reason, and is that Takaichi isn't really that popular with Komeito. She's seen as something of a staunch conservative, and Komeito, don't seem too happy with that in some of her policies.
Does it throw into doubt the expected prime ministership of Sanae Takaichi? She's set to become Japan's new and first female leader.
It does, for sure. It does a little bit. So, as you say, her chances of becoming prime minister in a vote that's scheduled for next week are probably a little bit slimmer than they were whenever she won the LDP leadership earlier this month. She really has two problems, right? She needs to win this vote. She doesn't have enough votes to do it on her own with her party, so she needs to find others to vote with her. The opposition are trying to coalesce around a leader, an alternative leader that they can put forward as prime minister, and if they can manage to do that, then her chances really do look slim. But having said all that, the opposition parties are, full of disagreements around policy, and whether or not they can actually do that is just not clear at this moment.
So what options does it leave the LDP with now?
Well, they still have a chance at winning the vote next week. If the opposition parties can't figure out who it is that they want to put forward as an alternative to Takaichi, then since they still have the most number of votes, they should hopefully win, assuming they get into a runoff after the first round of votes. Their next big problem is that they do have to form a new coalition. They are going to have to find a new partner to join them in government. Otherwise, they will be at the head of a minority, and that makes things very tricky for advancing your policies.
Well, that is the tricky bit, isn't it? Even if Takaichi manages to be confirmed as Prime Minister, it'll likely be a shaky coalition, do you think, and tricky to get bills passed?
It could be. It depends what sort of agreement they can put together. If they can persuade, another party, it's unlikely to be Komeito, of course, but it could be the Democratic Party for the People. If they can persuade them to join a coalition, sort out a policy, a platform for governing beforehand, and then implement that policy going forward, then they do have a chance. But you're right, the alternative is something much shakier, something, much less certain, where Takaichi and the LDP would have to try and win support for individual policies every time they came before Parliament. That is certainly a tricky task.
She does have big challenges ahead of her. She's trying to unite her own party. If she is installed as Prime Minister, who will she likely pick for the key government roles?
Well, what she said is that she will try to govern, the LDP is a big coalition itself, right? It has people from the right, it has people from the centre, and it has people from the left in it. So she has talked about building a pretty wide, big tent, if you like, with people from all the wings of the party to try and keep it together. There are some rumours floating about the person she defeated in the leadership challenge, Koizumi. He has been tipped for a senior role, possibly defence minister. Hayashi was another challenger in the leadership election. He's a very senior figure in the LDP. He's also tipped for a big role. But yes, her goal, it seems, is to pull in people from different wings of the party.
And as soon as possible, too, they'd be keen to get on with this and have her confirmed as leader ahead of a visit by US President Donald Trump expected in a few weeks' time. And presumably tariffs will be a key issue to discuss.
That's right. President Trump is expected to be here towards the end of October. I don't think it's quite been confirmed yet by the White House, but it's still something that officials on both sides are talking about. The trade tariffs and the trade deal are something that still is a live issue, I guess. Japan and the US have agreed some sort of trade deal, as you know. Hopefully that'll keep things stable for a while, but certainly the Japanese are not very happy with where the tariffs are. Other issues include defense spending, which the US would like to see more of. Takaichi is supportive of that, but whether, the rest of the parliament is kind of another matter. She's also hawkish on China. That might appeal to President Trump, considering what's happening with that bilateral relationship too.
Okay, a lot to look out for in the coming weeks. Jason Douglas, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Yvonne. My pleasure.